I think, a really intriguing class here to get us into the breeding division, and I think there's some things that you're going to have to prioritize down the line here, and I think it's high quality, and the first thing I want to do is recognize that all 4 of these are going to be blue ribbon exhibitors, and give them all 4 a round of applause here if you would, because I think they all deserve that. But as difficult as a lot of decisions were in this class, there was one that never changed in my mind from the moment they walked in, and that's exhibitor 218 leading off this class. She wins this class and does so for fun. Balanced, attractive. That one looks like a show goat there. That one, in terms of just balancing, looking feminine, looking attractive, and still having enough power, enough mass, enough boldness, that one hits the mark really well for me. Please congratulate that exhibitor that's going to lead off this class with a big round of applause. We get into second here, and I think we get into second. Here, let me try and move here. We get into second, and I think it gets really close here as we go through these and kind of sort through them. And I think I've had every single one of these goats second to fourth in my head, and trying to justify and put together what makes the most sense, and ultimately I land on the one to me that's just the most productive and functional, and that's the red goat here. That's the one that's bold through its center body. That's the one that's still got a big top. Everything's square and balanced in that one. I'll be the first to admit, I could see that one just lose just a nickel worth of condition. I could see that one just square up its hock ever so slightly. At the same time, that's still the one that takes the bendiest, longest step of the remaining 3. That's the one that's the most balanced and functional in terms of the way its skeleton's laid into its body, while still having the extras of some mass and power there to fall into second. The one that's going to go third is the one that maybe gives me the most anxiety in terms of what to do with that one, because it has EST and class leading advantages in terms of just being so attractive and so balanced from the side, but that's the one to me that's also the frailest and the narrowest. That's the one that gives up the same mass and power found in the top 2 contemporaries there. If I could just put a shot more bone work, a shot more stoutness, a shot more muscle into that one, I don't need my females to be overly heavy muscled, but I do need them to have some muscle that they can go on and make some sort of product later on down the line that is going to have some muscle and power on its skeleton still. Ultimately, I think that one just didn't have quite enough for me today, so I got it down into 3 there. The one in 4 is the one that does have all the product and muscle you could want. Stepping behind that one, there's as much muscle and power into that one's lower leg and stifle. That's also the one that's the deepest about its chest. That's the one that ties its neck the lowest into its shoulder there. That's the one that gets the most off in terms of its top line and the roundest in its hip. If we could redesign that one's skeleton, just make it a touch more functional, that one could easily move up at least to the 2 spot in this class, because I think there are some EST class leading advantages in that one as well. If you would, put your hands together for all these exhibitors that do a great job in this first class. Awesome job, really competitive. I look forward to the rest of the show here.
Our first place for Class 1 is Bessa Thrift. In second place is Nicholas Cood. And third place is Emma Carroll. And fourth place is Tucker Thrift. Now entering the arena for Class 2 is Nicholas Cood, Amber Rogers, and Jalen Rogers.
Another class here where we're going to do all blue ribbons, and I think quality is deep in this class here. If you would, put your hands together for all three exhibitors as they do an awesome job here. I think similar to the last class, there was one that when it came in, I would have been wrong for me to try and beat it here, and I don't think you really can. The light red-headed one on the far right side of the lineup, that's the logical one to win. Balanced, attractive, still youthful and feminine about its look there. That's one that I love. It's just sweep and maternal shape to its rib. There may be some that are bolder in terms of their rib. There may be some that might have an EST here or there, but that's the logical place to start in terms of one that absolutely looks like a show goat, blends and balances an attractive look there. Look forward to seeing that one back in the champion drive and where that one's going to fall there. The one that goes in second here's the one that's so bold and robust through the center part of its body. That one's got as much mass and power and thickness as you could possibly want there. At the same time, that's one that starts showing some of its age. It's starting to drop in terms of its breastplate. It's starting to show some of its age there in terms of its muscle pattern there. And I appreciate showing one in terms of its working clothes there just a little bit, but at the same time, it just detracts from that ultra elite look found in the class winner. Now take nothing away from the one in third, and if you would, please give a round of applause to this one in third, because I think this exhibitor definitely deserves it here. If you guys would, please give him a big round of applause. That's a good goat to go in third here, guys. You just run into two really good ones in this class. In terms of being elite, in terms of your front end, we need to chisel that neck down. We need to tie it higher atop its shoulder. We need to make it longer and more feminine. We need to elevate it into its breastplate and just add a touch more width and thickness down its top. But a very good goat to go in third there. If you would, put your hands together for three very competitive goats in this class. They'd easily deserve your appreciation.
In first place for Class 2 is Amber Rogers, second place is Jalen Rogers, and third place is Nicholas Coon. For Class 3, now entering the ring is Nicholas Coon and Jalen Rogers.
With just two here, we're going to keep it short and brief, and these exhibitors in the ring a multitude of times, so we're not going to we've had plenty of ring time already. We're going to lead off with the young lady in the FFA there, and that one does so in terms of pasture and strength. First off, study that one to the ground. It's stronger in terms of its toes there. That's one that's more attractive in terms of its front 1/3. It's thinner about its neck. It ties its neck higher. And then ultimately, it's stronger about its top line, leveler at its hip, and still has more muscle and boldness laid onto its skeleton. Take nothing away from one that does balance with an attractive look found in the exhibitor there in the 4-H jacket there. That's one that I really appreciate in terms of just getting a lot of the basics in terms of the fundamentals done there. For me, we need to just strengthen that one on its pasterns. We need to level that one in terms of its top and just make it bolder in terms of the center body to compete with an ultra competitive class winner. If you would, give them both a big round of applause as we head to our champion drive here.
In first place from Class 3 is Jalen Rogers, and in second place is Nicholas Kuhn. Coming back for Grand Champion from Class 1 is Mesa Thrift, from Class 2 is Amber Rogers, and from Class 3, Jalen Rogers. While our judges deciding on his grand champion, our Life South blood buses here. We are having a competition for the clubs. Whoever donates the most blood will get a prize. There's also a gift. There's also a $20 gift card involved and a hat that has the Life South logo on it. So please donate some blood and help others out.
It's been a really good show here, and we got to the breeding division, and I know we still got 3 heats of showmanship left, so I'll say maybe my final words and final thoughts for when we get into showmanship here. But if you would, please put your hands together for all the exhibitors that have brought and exhibited livestock today. It's been a great day. When we kind of get into this breeding division here, the numbers may not have been huge, but the quality is extremely, extremely deep all the way through here. And I think the unique thing about this goat deal is there's a lot of, just like all sorts of livestock, and as the goats have kind of developed over the last few years, there's different types and kinds that evolve and emerge, and there's trends that come and go. When we think about ones that are tall and short and long and boxy and this and that, I'll tell you though, the one thing that you can look at all 3 of these, they're all functional in terms of their build. They all offer an attractive and feminine look from the side. Ultimately, when we kind of break them down and study them, I think there's probably a decision to be had between 2 of them out here, and I'll take nothing away from the one that maybe falls out of consideration, because that one probably in a different day and a different age probably was ultra competitive, but we judge them the way we see them today, and that's the way we're going to do it. And but as I talked about, through all these different trends that emerge in all the different species of livestock, the one thing that remains true is having a sound, functional hind leg that allows that animal to get up every day and do its job. And I think that's the one thing when I think about our champion that that really stands out to me from the moment this one hit the ring. It's the soundest, it's the most athletic. It takes just an awesomely long stride. I'm going to put the mic down, select your champion here if you would. Give him one big round of applause for all the exhibitors here, and I'll select your champion overall female. I thought y'all had a little more pride in your kids here. I'll give them one big round of applause here, and I'll go select your champion. Thank you.
Your grand champion is Mesa Thrift from Class 1. So I would please ask for Nicholas Kuhn to come into the arena.
We get into our decision for reserve here, and I think it gets really close. Ultimately, between the pair of the other two class winners, take nothing away from the red goat that came in here from second in that class. That's a bold, functional type of livestock there. But for me, it gives up maybe some of the elite pieces that the other two class winners bring to the table here. Ultimately, between the pair, I think it gets very close. I think one maybe has more far-reaching pieces than the other. I think maybe one's just a touch more fresher and right for today. If you would, just go ahead and put your hands together one more time, and we're going to congratulate the young lady out of class number 2. She'll have your reserve champion.
Your reserve grand champion came out of Class 2, Amber Rogers. We are now going to go into the bred and owned breeding show. I need Emma Carroll, Nicholas Kuhn, Amber Rogers, and Jalen Rogers. For your bred and owned breeding show, your grand champion is Amber Rogers, and we are now going for our reserve champion.
We've already studied these goats a little bit today, so I won't take much time. If you would, first off, go ahead and congratulate our grand champion that's standing behind me. She was our reserve champion in our show, so we're going to go ahead and she's already selected as our champion, homegrown there. As we get into our selection of our remaining 3, I understand I get to pick a champion, a reserve here, and then a third overall as well. And that'll take nothing away because this homegrown deal is a tremendous project. Sorry. This homegrown deal is a tremendous project for these young exhibitors to be involved with here, and maybe here. Nope. We'll figure it out. It's a tremendous project for these young people to be involved with. That's how I got my start was through these homegrown projects. And maybe if I come stand over here, we're going to keep trying something. How about over here? Nope, that's worse. Now? Nope. Now? Keep it all the way down here, maybe. So as we get in here and we kind of talk, man, this is, let me get further away from that. Come stand over here, maybe. Let's try that. I'll stand along the fence. How about that? As we get here in our selection of our reserve champion, I think it gets close between the three of them out here. I think that there's one that's maybe has as many far-reaching pieces as anything there that we've had in the show, maybe showing just a touch more age. We have two others that came out of very competitive class, and I'll be the first to admit, just because one beat one in the show earlier doesn't necessarily mean that's going to sort the same way here, because I'll give them all a fresh look. But with that being said, this homegrown deal is a tremendous accomplishment for these young people. So just walking in this ring, exhibiting that, the amount of time, energy, and effort and dedication it takes to make livestock better is truly what we're trying to do here. And these young kids are learning a tremendous amount about themselves and becoming the best version of themselves through these projects. So if you would, give them a big round of applause. I'll go ahead and shake the hand of your reserve, and then I'll shake the hand of your third overall here in our homegrown division. One more big round of applause, and I'll go ahead and shake the hands of your reserve and third. One more big round of applause for our reserve, and then our third overall being the young exhibitor 212 there. Awesome job. And big round of applause for 214. Very competitive goat as well.
Your reserve grand champion bred and owned breeding goat is Jalen Rogers, and our third overall is Nicholas Kuhn. We are now moving into our market goat showmanship, starting with two classes of juniors. In the first class is Kate James, Hudson Leafers, and Austin Floyd. So in the arena is Kate James and Austin Floyd. We are now joining is Judson Butek, Adelie Butek, Melanie Butts, and Emery Wooten.
So we get into our class of juniors here, and it's a very good heat of 5 of them. If you would, put your hands together and recognize all these exhibitors. They're doing a great job. I spent a little time visiting with them, and one of the questions I like to ask juniors, what does your goat weigh and what does it eat? And that's not to find out brands or anything like that, this or that. I just want to know how involved that young person is in this project and making decisions, because I think that's important, even at this young age, letting them be informed on why we're feeding this ration versus that ration, I think is terribly important to understand our projects and some of the skills that we gain out of it. I don't believe showmanship is a knowledge contest, but I do believe being involved in your project is part of this thing, and it does matter when it comes down to it there. And they all did a great job answering some of those questions, but I always like to explain myself there. The 3 exhibitors that are going to end up in our top 3 do so because they're just more comfortable leading their goats. They lead with more purpose. They take... They're really walking the goats, not kind of following around. And that's to take nothing away from our exhibitors. They're going to be in 4th and 5th over here. They're ones that just, the goats might try and get away. They just fidget a little bit more. Just spend a little more time at home, just getting them calmed down, getting them comfortable. And that way they're more comfortable when they come to the show, because there's plenty of scary things going on here. But ultimately, when we get to these top 3, there's some subtle differences that are going to kind of sort the pair here. First is going to be eye contact. And it's really when they step into the rear view that the 2 young ladies kind of excelled for me in terms of their eye contact. Take nothing away, you exhibitor 253, you're going to be 3rd for me today, and it's when you went into that kind of rear view, you turned your back to me, and you weren't kind of giving me that eye contact and commanding my attention a little bit there. I think if we could tweak that, then we could definitely move you up a spot there. But give a big round of applause there for our 3rd place exhibitor. We work into 1st and 2nd here, and it is a close decision here. And I think all 3 of these exhibitors need to work on squaring up their feet and legs, being able to set our feet and legs a little bit more. And I think if we can do that, then we could ultimately make this a real easy decision where one of them stood out for me. Ultimately, they both had that problem. So to me, it's head and neck placement. It's how comfortable that goat is in the ring, how easy that goat is to work with. And when on the lead, one just presents their goat with a way more impressive look. Help me to congratulate exhibitor 254. That's going to be your champion. Exhibitor 263, she'll be your reserve champion. Congratulate both those young ladies as they head out the ring. Awesome show in our junior showmanship.
For intermediates, first in the class is Chase Floyd, Emily Ham, Jalen Rogers, Caleb Horn, Kinsley Harvey, and Hudson Leafers.
Is this our only class, or do we have 2 of these? Is this our only class, or do we have 2 of these? This is it. Okay. Perfect.
For our juniors class, Kate James was our grand champion. Melanie Butts was our reserve champion. Austin Floyd was our 3rd overall. Judson Butek was 4th, and Emery Wooten was 5th.
We get into our intermediate division here, and there's definitely some talent here all the way through, and there's decisions to be had. We're going to just talk through some of these down here. In sixth, we have the young exhibitor here to my right, and take nothing away there. I appreciate you in terms of just getting that one out and being able to lead it, having some comfortability with that animal, and being able to get that one to be calm in the ring with you here. It's a feet and leg issue for me. We need to be able to square up those legs. They need to be making that kind of box every single time, have all four legs out on the corner in the appropriate way there. That's the thing I'd like you to work on in order to move you up here. If we could get those feet and legs set in the proper position, that's definitely, in terms of just time spent with your project, we can tell that you spent some time there, but we need to make sure that time is really meaningful and making that goat look as good as possible. I think at times our exhibitor here in fifth you can make that goat look as good as anybody in this ring. Unfortunately, that one really wants to fidget and twitch too much there, and when asked to lead, that one wanted to kind of buck and jump on us and didn't want to quite lead just as calm there. I think we could easily have you as high as second at times in my head. For me, though, it's just getting that one to fidget a little less, getting that one to hold the brace, getting that one on the lead to just be more comfortable in the ring. I think you're as talented a showman as anybody in here. I think the issue is your partner just maybe didn't want to dance with you today. The young exhibitor here that's going to end up in fourth, I think you have one of the harder goats to show there. I talked about working on that top line with that goat, and the issue there is that one wants to get high in its spine, so it will tuck its legs underneath itself. It won't want to square up, so you really have to work extra hard to get that one set up properly there, and that's another challenge there that unfortunately you run into. I think at times that one did want to fidget its feet just a little bit more, and it's because its spine wants to make it more uncomfortable. If we could just let that one to work and cooperate with you, I think you do a great job of doing all the fundamentals, all the basics. We just need one to kind of cooperate and be able to hold that brace a little longer for you. We get into our top three here, and I think there's one that's going to fall third for me, and I think it's an issue of setting feet and legs sometimes. That's going to be young man over here to the far right side. Take nothing away. I think you hold that brace. You're appropriate in how you do it. My issues with you come with I don't want to see you kind of kick that leg back there to set it there. You're kind of using your feet too much to do it. I'd rather have you reach and use your knee and bump it, bump that chest of the goat to do it, or go reach down and actually physically move it with your hand. Between those things, just kind of using your feet is just not really the appropriate way to kind of set those feet. In addition, the other thing that I take maybe issue with is how you hold that head and neck there. At times, you're leaning so far forward on that goat, it's pushing that head further forward towards me. And I think that's kind of an issue at times where you got to be able to rock back and know your kind of own body there so that you can get that goat head to line up completely with its spine there. If you look right here, that goat's head is over here and its spine is further this way. If you get that head and neck to line up better, just like that, that goat's able to get its head up, and you can see, you probably can't see right now, but someone's filming, you can see that goat looks better. Its neck is wrinkling less, and it looks more appropriate when you can get that spine lined up with its head there. We get into our top two here, and it's awful close there. If you would, give a round of applause to our third place exhibitor there as we give them the feedback. We get into our top two, and it's awful close there. I think there's one that's definitely been very appropriate in terms of just feet and legs set, being on it all the time. That's exhibitor 266 there. That's one that I really appreciate in terms of just how consistent you are as a showman there. If we can go ahead and just maybe tweak some of that style and how we hold that head. I think at times you get kind of lazy there and you don't pull that head back and neck back into that animal and really make that one brace and drive and look and work with some authority there. I think we need to tweak that just a little bit in terms of just adding just a little more pizzazz and to the way that you show there. And that's probably a personal preference thing as much as anything there. I think exhibitor 261, at times that goat does want to just fidget just more than I'd term ideal. Even at this moment, we're kind of off on a little bit of a awkward stance there because that one wanted to fidget. At the same time, those feet are in the right place. That goat looks presented to a T for me. At times, that top line can get weak, so you do have to work on that one just a little bit for me personally. But ultimately, I always ask, who's getting the most show out of their goat? Who's driving their goat? Who's getting that goat more appropriately handled in all the right way there? For me, that's going to be exhibitor 261. Congratulations, you'll be champion. 266, you'll be my reserve champion. Please give a round of applause to all 6 exhibitors as they exit the ring.
All right, So for our intermediate showmanship, our grand champion is Jalen Rogers, and our reserve champion is Caleb Horn. Third overall is Hudson Leafers. Fourth, Kinsley Harvey. Fifth, Emily Ham, and sixth, Chase Floyd. Now coming into the arena for senior market showmanship is Mariana Caballero, Amber Rogers, Brooklyn Lemons, and Blaine Corpora. As our judge is working on our seniors, we do have Miss Bailey over here by the Texas trailer passing out cut and wrap pig raffle tickets and raffle tickets for this 12-foot stock trailer. We also have the blood bus out in front of the clubhouse. There's a $20 gift card and a hat. And there's also a competition going on between the clubs and chapters for who raises the most blood.
If you would, put your hands together for all 4 of these senior exhibitors here. And I have one last thing here before we finish our senior drive. And I do this at a lot of showmanships, and I think it's important here. Between our top 2, I'm going to ask them to come to the microphone, and I'd like them to speak just for a second here. And what I'd like them to tell us is who is their biggest role model that they've had in life, and why, and just kind of tell us about that person. I think this is an awesome opportunity here to show some appreciation and thanks to those people. Someone gave me that opportunity when I was a senior, and it's one of our fondest memories that we have as a family, that we can think back to that opportunity. And so if you would, could you hold one of the goats there for him here? Who wants to go first? You're going to go first? All right.
Hey guys, my name's Amber. I'm 15. I'm a part of the Santa Fe FFA chapter, and this is my GOAT project this year. I think my biggest role model is definitely going to have to be my mom. She's one that pushes me to be the best person that I can possibly be. And I really think that's why I'm such a good showman, and that's why I strive to do so well in everything that I do. So I'm definitely going to have to give it to her.
Give a round of applause. Round of applause.
Hey guys, Blaine, I would definitely give it to Wade Rogers. If it wasn't for him, I would have never got this far. He was the only reason I've actually even made it to the show.
So definitely not easy there, and we definitely want to show appreciation to those people that have gotten us to the spot that we are. That being said, just to give a little feedback, our young lady that's in 4 here, I appreciate that you're able to get in here. The goat doesn't balk when we want to lead. Unfortunately, you can tell that one's kind of in charge right now. You're not kind of in charge as much. So that goat is turning and spinning and moving. We need to be able to hold and control that goat a little bit more, so that way we can get it to brace and hold and do the things that we want just a little bit more. I think just a little more ring time, spend a little more time working on that, but did a great job of just being able to lead that goat. A young lady here, you are definitely close to being in second, because at times your just calm demeanor I can really appreciate. Just some feedback there. We need to square up our feet and legs. We need to set those a little better. And when pulled to lead, you're holding the collar back here like this. Turn your wrist around and hold it this way. That's going to allow you to have a lot more leverage and control there in case that goat does decide to run. This goat doesn't look like it wants to run from you at all. Maybe run towards you. That's about it. Okay, might lick you to death. That's the only thing it's going to do there. But at the same time, I really do appreciate how much you can tell you've worked with this one. We just need to set those feet and legs a little bit better, and then go ahead and turn that hand around. We could easily slide you into the 2-hole here. Between first and second here, I've never been one to make something sound grandiose or close when it's not here, guys. There's one in here that does just an absolute killer job. Feet and legs are in the right position. Absolutely gets that goat stuck every single time there. Please can help me congratulate Exhibitor 262. She'll be your champion senior showman there. Take nothing away from Exhibitor 255 here, but right now our feet and legs are a little bit in the wrong spot. We need to square those up and just be a touch more consistent to compete against an ultra-competitive one there. Please give a big round of applause to our second place exhibitor, as well as all our exhibitors in our senior drive here.
Congratulations to our senior showmen. And our grand champion is Amber Rogers, and our reserve grand champion is Blaine Corpora. And our third overall is Brooklyn Lemons, and our fourth overall is Mariana Calabera. We are now moving on to breeding goat showmanship. Our only junior is Nicholas Kuhn.
If you would, please give a round of applause for our single entry here. Does an awesome job and brought us just an awesome set of goats here today. And I really commend this exhibitor for always having the goats in here. You can tell the amount of work that you put in because you're able to, in my opinion, almost over fidget and touch those legs, and that goat's still not balking. It's still not going anywhere. It's still not fidgeting or getting a little stir crazy. It has been in the ring about 4 or 5 times, so right when I talked about it, it had to move its leg there. But at the same time, you can tell that you spent a tremendous amount of time with this project at home there. And I'll tell you what, even I can't mess this up. Congratulations. You'll be our champion junior showman right here.
Our grand champion junior showman is Nicholas Kuhn. Now entering the arena is our intermediate breeding goat showmans, Jalen Rogers, Mesa Thrift, and Tucker Thrift.
Please put your hands together for 3 ultra-competitive showmen here in our intermediate division. Do an awesome, awesome job showing goats here. As we go ahead and just start to sort through them and work with the exhibitors here, we're going to go ahead and start talking about the young lady that's going to be third. That's exhibitor 218 here that's directly in the middle. I think this goat's maybe been in the ring a couple times. It's already had a great day. I think unfortunately that's causing maybe just want to stir and balk and just fidget just a little more than ideal. And that's not maybe allowing you to show off how much time, energy, and effort that you kind of put in that project there. And that is unfortunate, and I know that's why sometimes they do showmanship on a separate day to let the livestock relax a little bit. I also know when you have a smaller show like this, it's some of the constraints that we have to deal with there. So I wish that one would just kind of hold that pose just a little longer and let you show off that hard work. At times, I just want to let it lead just a little easier, not balk as much there. And the same token, I want to see that one just square up its legs just ever so slightly there, so that way we can just make sure we appreciate how good that goat is. Because when it's not set up perfectly, maybe we don't appreciate how that awesome silhouette that goat gives us there that let it be champion today. But give a round of applause to an awesome third place exhibitor there that maybe just needs a little better dancing partner at this exact moment. But the decision here between first and second gets close to me. And again, I think it comes down to one that maybe is Mr. Consistent over here in exhibitor 219. Feet and legs are always in the right spot. That goat will always pull out and lead there. I think at times maybe we don't get the ideal look. Maybe we're not just pulling on that head and cranking on it quite as much as I'd like. Maybe when asked to lead, we let that head drop a little more than the way I just maybe want that goat to kind of show off in terms of a show ring setting there. At the same time, maybe we take just a nickel more time to set those feet and legs when compared to our other exhibitor. Exhibitor 261 here, this is one that this goat is maybe even a little more challenging to show because it is kind of wanting to wear down in this hot weather. It is maybe getting a little stiffer, maybe not wanting to just pull out and lead with as much ease there. At the same time, that's the one that has been maintained the look and balance as appropriate as possible there. And then I love for me, the real sort between the two exhibitors is just the eye contact and intensity that I get from exhibitor 261. Congratulations, you'll be our champion. You'll be our reserve champion. Congratulate all 3 exhibitors on an awesome intermediate drive.
Your grand champion for intermediate breeding goat showmans was Jalen Rogers, and your reserve grand champion was Tucker Thrift, and your third overall was Mesa Thrift. Our last class for our goat show tonight is senior showmanship breeding goats, and that is Amber Rogers and Emma Carroll.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, it's been an awesome show and an absolute pleasure to come and work with your young people. And I can tell you right now that it's not every day that I get the opportunity to do this, but every time I do, I'm always humbled by the chance to do it. I take it incredibly seriously, regardless of just staring at livestock or working with kids in showmanship. I still have the same chills run up my spine every single day I step into a ring. I remember when I can think back to the days when I showed at the Cow Palace, and it didn't matter the species there. I still have a very vivid memory. The night before I go to sleep before a show, and I'd be thinking about winning. I'd be dreaming about it, and that passion that I have, it's something that I can remember, and it's why I take this so seriously, and why I try so hard to get every decision as right as I can. This is a subjective game. There's a lot of different decisions and opinions that are made here, and you have to weigh and measure everything together. But when it comes down to it, I'm going to tell you, you guys have an awesome set of young people. Just the opportunity, whether you're first or last in here, I can tell you we've had tremendous success in years, and we've had no success. And I can tell you we've made just as many memories, and I've learned just as many life lessons, if not more, from those years where we struggled, where we had to grind and figure out and get that grit in our belly, so that way when I come across something that's hard in my life now, I'm able to think back to those opportunities as well and be incredibly grateful for that. That being said, I think we have two awesome showmen here, and I'll just kind of give each of them just a little feedback there. Young lady here, at times you wanted to kind of spin and overwork that goat. Just stay calm. If you stay calm, that goat will stay calm. You do a great job of setting feet and legs. I think at times we could probably just kind of stare me down with a little more intensity. Give me that look of almost you're angry. Like if you don't pick me, I'm going to go key your truck out there in the parking lot. I'm sorry, it's a car. Don't key anything. Okay. No matter what, you want to have that look of intensity. That drive and determination. That way, I can tell, like, hey, we're really here. We really want to win. At times, I think I'm always for a relaxed showman, but I think at times maybe we can just look a little too relaxed there at times. And that's just small feedback there to give to a showman that I can already tell has put in the time, energy, and effort to work with your project there. The showman over here to my right, Exhibitor 262, I think at times we get feet and legs set properly. I think on the flip side, we can almost get too intense at times. We cock our head too much to the side, and then it can be just a little too intense and look awkward at times. I think at times if you just dial that back, relax yourself, and remember, hey, showing livestock and being a stockman is about being relaxed and being intense at the same time. When you're working livestock and being around them, it's important that you stay relaxed and that you're comfortable around those livestock, so those livestock stay comfortable with you. That being said, I think they do a really good job. If you would, give all our showmen that came in the ring and all the people that made this show happen one more big round of applause. I'll shake your hand of your champion senior showman and put the mic down. Thank you guys for having me.
Your grand champion senior showman was Amber Rogers, and your reserve grand champion was Emma Carroll. Thank you all for coming. Please join us back in about an hour and a half for our market steer show. Miss Bailey is down there selling raffle tickets for the 12-foot stock trailer and our cut and wrapped pig. The blood bus is also in front of the clubhouse. Please donate some blood for us. And don't forget to mention your favorite club, as what club raises the most blood will get a prize. There's also included a $20 gift card. Thank you for all coming. type of goat, please go to the backdrop to take pictures. Please go to the backdrop, grand champions and reserves. Thank you.